Well, hello, my good friends. How's everybody doing today? Hope you are well. It is June 11th, 2022. Just a few days until the Summer Wells, uh, in honor of Summer Wells get together, vigil, if you will, um, comes together. So, looking forward to that. Hope to see a lot of you there if you're able to make it. If not, we will be right there, cameras in hand, so you can be there with us. Yes, it is Saturday. Thank you. It's good to see everyone. I've been off a few days, but I've still been active around the YouTube streets, as they say. So, yay, cracking ass is good to see you. So, yeah, today we're going to talk about a number of things. We're going to talk about Jody Sue. That will be the very last thing that we talk about. We're going to be talking about a young man who is 19 years old, and his name is Dylan, and he has went missing. And you think of, in my opinion, you think of like the new generation of who you want to be kind of like your replacement, as you get older, and you really have hope in the future. This is who I think of when I think of Dylan. Like, to me, he is the hope of the future. Just very responsible. We're going to talk about him. And then I'm going to give you guys a very quick update on, if you guys remember, a few months ago, we did a live, a woman out of Kansas, who, trigger warning, uh, beheaded her young son. And very gruesome story. About a little bit of an update with her. And then I did want to talk about, if we get time to this, I don't know if we'll get time to it, but it's a woman in Idaho, gets life in prison for torturing and fatally abusing 9-year-old stepson. Now, we may not get to that today, but if not, we'll try to come back to it later. And then, of course, we're going to talk about Jody Sue, her top 10 regrets. So it should be very interesting, to say the least. Let me. So, yeah. So let's get it started. So I want to talk to you about a young, handsome gentleman. Let me pull up his picture. All right, here's Dylan. His name is Dylan Rounds. Just a good American kid. Dylan's missing. Dylan's 19 years old. He's still technically a teenager, right? Still a teenager. And he fired, I think the guy he fired is responsible. Okay. So this is Dylan. Sent you an email, nothing too much important. Please read and thank you. Okay. I just checked my emails earlier, but this is Dylan. Now, Dylan, everyone who, exactly, Connie, hardworking kid. Everyone who knew Dylan liked Dylan. They said Dylan was a man of more of an old soul, I guess you would say. He didn't know how to play video games. He wasn't interested in video games. He was interested in farming. And we have to always thank our farmers, right? No farm, no food, as they say. And that is so true. And Dylan bought a piece of property out in the middle of Lucin, Utah. The middle of basically nowhere. It was an old, I think, mining town that was deserted, as a lot of industries move in, and then there'll be a quick boom for 10 or 20 years or however long, and then they pull out as fast as they come in, right? They get their profits, they leave. But Dylan gave this, he gave this man a ride who was kind of like a homeless man. Dylan kind of thought he was a little bit, a little strange, I guess you could put it, or, a little weird or something. And, but Dylan gave him a ride, bought him some food, did whatever. And in the beginning, they kind of thought that, excuse me, I got a frog in my throat tonight. In the beginning, they kind of thought that, it may be the homeless guy, but Dylan has like an RV, a camper on this property in literally the middle of nowhere. And nothing was out of place whenever, they tried to, his parents started looking for Dylan. Nothing was out of place. But they did find his boots. And obviously, if you don't have your boots, it's concerning. And this is brought to you by the elcodaily.com. Just a good kid. There's apparently been another young man in this area who has gone missing too. Dylan was reported missing from Lucin, Utah on May 25th. So, we're getting, the middle part of June now. So, he's been gone a minute. And Aiden Clune of Sonoma County, California, has been missing since April 27th. Two different states. I don't know why they have this in the same article, to be honest with you. But the police have not been that helpful. They do, don't they, KU? I kind of thought that too. I'm like, they even kind of look alike. It was just very strange. I thought the same thing. I was wondering if anybody else would think something like that, but I'm glad I'm not the only one. But let me get back to my article. But the police didn't really feel like they were that interested in it from the beginning. It's like they wasn't processing the scene like they should. They knocked out the back of his family, knocked out the back of the truck to see if anything was in there, because the police wasn't taking him seriously, and everything was the way it should be, except the seat was pushed forward. Now Dylan is 5'11", and his mom is like, I think she's 4 foot something. She's like, let's say 4'11", and she said when she would ride in Dylan's truck, when she would drive it, she always had to push it, it up very far, um, so she could be able to drive. But in this case, she did not have to push the seat up any further. It was already kind of pushed up. So it must have been a short person driving. Um, and they also noticed that the truck was spotless, from the outside. However, there was a couple things that was still dirty, and it was the wheel wells were muddy, and the tailgate. That doesn't sound good whenever you are out in the desert and everything is clean except for the wheel wells and the tailgate. It makes you really wonder what's going on here, because something is definitely not right. I'm going to let this article read real quick, and then I got to get something to drink because I have a frog in my throat.
Lucin, Utah. The family of a missing teenager is asking for the public's help in the search for their son. 19-year-old Dylan Rounds lives in Lucin, Box Elder County. His family said he was last seen Memorial Day weekend in Montello, Nevada, 30 miles west of his home. His father, Justin Rounds, said Dylan moved from Idaho to Lucin to pursue dreams of farming. "This is the pond he dug out," Justin showed Fox 13 News. "He talked to me about planting trees around it and stocking fish with it. It was always just one of his dreams." It's been almost a week and a half since Dylan was last seen at the Saddle Sore Bar. "I'm convinced it's foul play. Every vehicle he has, every tractor, is accounted for and in place," said Justin. One of the last conversations Dylan had with his dad was about his excitement for the crop he had just planted. He wanted to see it grow. He wasn't going to leave. "There's nothing that was going to take him away from here," he said. Justin said both the Box Elder County Sheriff's Department and Weber County Search and Rescue searched the area last week. 3 helicopters, a plane, and cadaver dogs were part of the search. Search parties were also out and about all week helping out. They called off the search, Box Elder County Sheriff's Office, because they were 95% sure there's no sign of Dylan out in the 3 to 5 mile area, said Justin. Law enforcement found his boots 5 miles west of his camper. "I'll never forget the look on Dylan's mom's face. I could only imagine what I looked like when we saw those boots," he said. Each day without answers is agony for his family, who all live in Idaho. They're offering a $20,000 reward to bring Dylan home. "I just came back today to kind of poke around because I can't hardly leave here," said Justin. "$20,000 is burning a hole in my pocket and I want to spend it today." Dylan is 5 feet 10 inches and weighs around 160 pounds. He has brown hair and brown eyes. Anyone with information is encouraged to call police.
Okay, so that's what we know about Dylan. There was supposed to be another search today with law enforcement. But when you find someone's boots 5 miles away from Dylan's property, it's nothing but really desert. I mean, you don't see there's not a blade of grass there. But when you see a 19-year-old's boots 5 miles away, something's wrong. Something is terribly wrong. And Dylan, he did not have a girlfriend. He was not interested in dating. He he just, like the mother says, a lot of people says like that's not my kid, but Dylan really was not like that. He wasn't interested in the modern day life. She said the only stress that Dylan had was if his crops were going to grow or not. He liked the challenge of being a farmer out in the middle of a desert and making it happen. And that's very noble. It's just to be such a young man and having ambition and pressing forward, um, literally in the desert. So I hope that the police uh, hear the family a little bit more, because there is an interview. If you guys want to learn more about this, there is an interview with Dylan's mother from Nate Eaton from East Idaho News. If you guys follow, I'm sure all of you follow the Lori Vallow case. He is really the lead reporter in the Lori Vallow case because it's local to him. He did a interview with um, Dylan's mom, and she was, a little bit disheartened how, you know, just that she didn't feel like the police was taking things seriously, and she thinks that the evidence has already been contaminated, like from the truck and everything, because she said there's probably been 200 people around it since. So, it's just one of those things. Hey, Rebecca, thank you so much for your super sticker. I greatly appreciate it, hun. Thank you. Yes, there has been a drop of blood on his boots. Anytime your boots are missing 5 miles away from your home, and they were also hidden kind of like in a suspicious area, um, and there's blood on it, and this child, he's a child. He's a man, but he's a young man. Uh, Something is really off, and yeah, it's just really terrible. So we just wish Dylan. There also is a Facebook page, Dylan Rounds, and I'll show you guys where this is in Utah. And so if you guys look over here, there's a little red spot. Here's the state of Utah, and here's Salt Lakes. But it's just right here in the corner of nowhere, right? Um, and let's see here. Lucin, uh, also known as Umbria Junction, is an abandoned railroad community in Box Elder County, Utah, United States, resettled by four owner residents along the western side of the Great Salt Lake, 162 miles northwest of Salt Lake City. Like, I don't even know if like the populate like I don't even think there's much of a population even there. It's just really a deserted town. I mean, you probably, you know got it for, the property next to literally nothing. So just very sad. Please keep uh the family in your prayers, and you know sometimes, we've seen a lot of these cases. Most of the time they don't turn out well. They just don't. But The mother doesn't seem to think that the homeless man did anything. She doesn't think that he did anything. The homeless man contacted the uh, the police relentlessly all day, um, and talked to the police. And the homeless man actually called uh, Dylan's mother, and she said she doesn't think that he is involved. All obviously he's not. Uh, Nobody is ruled out at the time, but she said the timeline just doesn't match up. East Coast, Diane says, approximately 400 yards away from the grain truck where the boots were located. His camper RV is 5 miles away. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Thank you, East Coast Diane. Thank you for that. The clarity there. Um, he was able to grow something in that environment major. Absolutely. Absolutely. And he had some, some big equipment, and he had just made a pond. Was his third season there. It's not like he was just, started this 2 weeks ago or anything. This was his third season. And his mom said they moved his truck. She got, yes, yes, that's what we were talking about earlier. Dylan is 5'10", 5'11" by some accounts, and that, when she got in the truck, she didn't have to push the seat up or anything. If you ever, you know, drive, share a car or anything, you're always changing the seat back and forth. But, she said I didn't even have to change, the seating adjustment. So it really is. And I just pray that there's some, I just pray that I pray that he's okay. He is such a good, young man, someone who really, really benefits the planet. And that's what we need is more young people who have, a passion to do better and be better. There is big red flags, and that's the most disheartening part about it, Kitty May, is um, this is just not Dylan. Like, he never played, he wouldn't even know how to play a Nintendo. He wasn't interested on anything online. He was just born to farm, just a very old soul. So, yes. All right. So, um, now we're going to move along to, very briefly, do you guys remember this mom from I don't know, a couple of months ago? Uh, she was the Missouri woman found she decapitated her 6-year-old son. His body was located in the bathtub. His head was literally at the door whenever the police broke in. The mother was dancing around in, uh, just dancing around with a knife in her hand. And it was just an absolute tragic, tragic story. Um, yes. Why is she alive? I hear you, Tara. But yes, you remember Amy? Yes. For those of you that don't remember, I do have a video for that. I don't know, at least a month or two ago. I think it was back in February, to be honest. If I'm, uh, but this is uh, what was her name? Tasha Haves, and she has been declared not fit to stand trial. And it's she was in Jackson County, uh, which is in Kansas City, Missouri. Um, did I share that yet? Let me share this like this. But she has been deemed not to fit trial.
Kansas City, Missouri, AP. A Kansas City woman accused of decapitating her 6-year-old son has been found mentally unfit to stand trial. A Jackson County judge last week placed Tasha Hayes, 35, in the custody of the Missouri Department of Mental Health after finding her incompetent to stand trial, the Kansas City Star reported. Hayes had been charged with first-degree murder and armed criminal action in the killing of Carvel Stevens. Officers who were called in February to a home in eastern Kansas City found the boy and a family dog decapitated inside and Hayes covered in blood. They also found bloody knives, and officials said Hayes told police she killed her son in the home's bathtub. Police went to the home after a woman believed to be Hayes called and said the devil was trying to attack her. Hayes' family members later told the Star that she had struggled for years with drug addiction, depression, severe trauma, and hallucinations. A phone message left caused of decapitating son. A phone message left Wednesday morning with Hayes' public defender, Laura O'Sullivan, seeking comment was not immediately returned. Mike Mansour, a spokesman for the Jackson County Prosecutor's Office, said Hayes' mental competence will be reevaluated after several months of treatment to see if she can stand trial at a later date.
Now,
Advertisement.
oh please.
Advertisement. AP News.
All right. For those of you that remember this, the mother did struggle with addiction, and I thought immediately this was from drugs. They lived in just a very teeny tiny house. She also had a child of just a baby, and I thought, well, maybe it's postpartum depression or something, like fueled by drugs or something to that effect. Um, Good question. Good question. No word on the father. No word on the father. She's a rabid dog. Yeah, I mean, it's but she is unfit to stand trial at this time. I'm thinking, did the drugs mess her up so bad that she may never come out of it? Could it be something like that? Or, and they said, you know, do you remember Lori Vallow? For such a long time, they said Lori Vallow was incompetent to stand trial. To me, in my opinion, I'm not a doctor though. Lori Vallow was never incompetent to stand trial. She just didn't want to face her music. Uh, but that's my opinion. But it was one of the, you just have to think about the first responders and the police. Um, I have read reports where they have had such a hard time, uh, you know, reliving this case. And, whenever she is fit to stand trial, I can't imagine just what the judge, the jury, and all of them are going to find out, because it is really bad. Really, really bad. Um, and also, I forgot to mention this. She also not only murdered um, her young son, she also murdered the dog that was in the basement. That was found in the basement, and she is, upstairs singing away with a knife, dancing. And yeah, it could be drug induced schizophrenia, but it's like, when do you come out of it? Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell will be standing trial January 5th, 2023. Should be about a 3-month trial. It's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. So I've actually been thinking about trying to go out there in whenever the trial starts up. She could be in the state hospital for the rest of her days. Yeah, I mean, I've heard of people who, the drugs just like they never click back out of it. It was to be fun. Yeah, yeah. So I don't know how, like, to feel about it. Like, I obviously it's terrible, but I haven't ever seen her like I've seen Lori Vallow. Lori Vallow, you can see, she's bubbly and she talks to everyone and everything like that. And you just kind of knew it was a bunch of BS, in my opinion. Although I'm not a doctor, but with this woman, I've never seen her other than, mugshots. So I'm thinking, is she really like mental? I don't know. I don't know. If someone is mental, like flat out mental, how do we address a person like that? Justin, off the subject, but I wanted to wish. Oh, thank you so much, Kitty May. Thank you. It is Pride Month. Thank you. Andrew Yates, the lady. Yes. You don't get drug induced schizophrenia, you get induced psychosis. Once you have a psychotic break, you're permanently prone to another break. Okay, thank you, Up for the Rising. I appreciate that. She was probably mental before drugs. Drugs. Yeah, I mean, I think once you've been addicted, uh, especially for a long period of time, your brain is never all the way the same again. you know it does heal a lot, but I think that addiction is always there somewhat. So all right, guys, so we're going to I'll try to keep you guys posted on that when the court, if when she goes to court, would I'll try to keep you posted on that. But anyway, we're going to get to Jody freaking Sue now. Jody Sue. Now, in a couple days, I do want to tell you guys, we are putting together a timeline, is the best I can say. Also, our theory on what happened the day Summer went missing. And it's going to be different than you've ever heard, probably. And it's going to take a little bit of a while to explain. But get ready, because I think a lot of things are completely off in the Summer Wells case. A lot of things are off, in my opinion. And this is uh, recounting word after word after word of what every person who has done an interview has said. Um, and, you know, but I think I'm just telling you, I think there's a lot of things off in the Summer Wells case. I think some things needs to be removed and some things need to be switched and just all kinds of stuff. So it's tomorrow. I I and a few others on my research teams will be doing a conference. We literally have whiteboards right in front of us, like white freaking boards. And yes, Vet Girl, I agree with that. Deep and wide, yes. And GMA, I agree with you. I think it's meant to be off. You're absolutely right. It is. It is. And Jody Sue is a very strange character in this. You're absolutely right. Yeah, nothing, unfortunately, nothing new on Dylan. Um, Jody Sue Brown is looking for attention. She is irrelevant in this case. She even said she didn't know the Wells. I think she is bored, needs attention. I mean, that's possible. The thing about this case is, hey B, good to see you. Good to see you, B. Um, anything is possible. Really, anything is possible. But based upon the word analysis that we have done, um, the time frames that they are going with, something is not passing the smell test. And I think we always knew that something wasn't passing the smell test, but what was it? Um, so I'm going to lay it out, and you know, uh, I just want others to hear my theory on it and my team's theory, and hopefully it might change some things up. It may not, but I also want to go over the Chris McDonough case, or his interview rather, um, but we will do that probably tomorrow. I should be live for the next few days. Uh, thank you, Leah Clayton. Thank you, honey. Jody Sue Brown hurts my brain. Too much BS. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate your support. Thank you. Guys, if you haven't already, if you guys will hit the thumbs up, I would greatly appreciate it. It's a free way to help out the channel. Yeah, so 12, 13, 14, I leave in 3 freaking days if I go to Tennessee. 3 days. Marissa, she's kind of going back and forth. I'm like, I don't know. So, anyway, it should be fun. If you're not a member and you're able to become a member, I would appreciate if you could become a member. If not, no worries. Just hit me a thumbs up, and I just appreciate you all being here. Thank you. So let's get to Jody Sue. Let's get to Jody Sue. Jody Stew. Sub up. Thank you. Yeah, so Jody Sue, she did a video saying her top 10 regrets. Cinnamon, thank you, my love. Thank you. I'm going to get, Mallory rings their bell and everything. I think I'm going to get those little dancer thingies. Hey, listen, YouTubers, I said it first. The little, the little dancing, like the little belly dancer things. Ding, 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 ding. Everything. Uh, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Cinnamon. Appreciate you, honey. Um, yeah, yes, those things, yes. And I might put on a belly shirt and watch my flab. I'm just kidding. You'd say, God, I'm canceling my membership for that motherfucker. If I showed my belly, I'd be like, no, thank you. Jody Shady Sue. Yes, yes. It amazes me that people still listen to her, and I don't mean that is and I don't mean that like as totally negative, but I'm just thinking this is what I heard, and I didn't check it for myself, but I heard that she was live like 17 hours yesterday. I'm like, what? I'm like, who goes live 17 hours and you don't go to the bathroom once? I'm like, what is she? She's sitting in like a Depends or something. Thank you, Stephanie. Welcome. Appreciate you, honey. Thank you for becoming a member. I do appreciate it. Thank you. This support really means a lot to me. Thank you. Um, she will never. She has was never go sleep yet. I know. I'm like 17 hours. I mean, how the hell does anyone go 17? She has a pee pillow. Look, it's like this. It's like, can you tell if I'm peeing? Do I look like I'm peeing? I'm not. Oh my god. Maybe she's sitting over. That's Sherry. That's it. Maybe she's just sitting on a bucket the whole time. Pickles, get in here. Oh my god. She has a catheter in, yeah. She's probably just got the the water hose. She's probably got the water hose, and she just, hooks it right in. Out it goes, out the front door. I'm thinking, it's like this case, some of the characters in it, it's like you just can't even it's beyond sad what those kids have endured, right? Uh, hey Kathy Rose, good to see you, honey. But just the characters, they're all criminals. They are all criminals. Thank you, dear. I think she is bored and likes story time. Yeah. But we're going to talk about Jody Stew's biggest regrets. Now, it is what it is. But let's, we got to listen to her. It's only about 6 or 8 minutes, but it's very interesting. It is very interesting. I don't know if I need to mute this because I'm playing it from a player, and this was given to me by a local Tennessean, and so I just want to put that out there. Let me see if I need. Let me know if. Okay, I don't need an extra camera. If you can hear it, or let me know if there's an echo. That's just let me know if there's an echo. StreamYard is sharing a window. Okay. Play the damn thing. Why is it not playing? Okay, hold on one second. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Let me know if there's like an echo when I get there. Share. Okay, I think I need to do it like, oh, here we go.
Wish so many things had been different some days. And until recently, he would have never gotten me to say, like, I regret anything in my life. But I do regret those moments. I didn't listen to my cousins and not walk out the door. I regret the moments that everybody around me was like, man, it ain't good enough, it ain't worth this, ain't whatever. And I didn't just. And I regret not just making it a day or two. And I regret just not going on with the Marine Corps because this thing was crying. I'm like, oh, you can't do that, you can't leave me, and whatever. And then eventually it made it to where I couldn't, and I regret so many things.
Oh, shit.
You know, but that's the thing.
So she's saying that she regrets so many things, but as the video continues, let's see what happens.
Like, I'm not a person that has ever been like, I regret whatever. You know, like, I try not to do things in my life that I'm going to regret. I try to live by that. You know,
and to me, she seems like she's, Jody Sue usually doesn't seem like a deep thinker. No offense, uh, but she seems like she's really going through some emotional, which we to be fair, we all do at times, but she seems like something is really bothering her here, in my opinion.
but other than that, the only thing I regret, and that's the thing, is like with this summer thing, you know, I mean, it's the only time I think I've been like, what if, but what if I could have?
Now, she's talking about Summer Wells. What if I coulda?
and I regret this and I regret that, you know?
Now, she is a neighbor who supposedly didn't see Summer. You know, what is she regretting?
The day Summer went missing, you know? But other than that, it's only this monster.
What is she talking about? A monster?
And maybe I might regret, like, well, not regret, but I wish I had just hugged him those last few days that he was here. Even though COVID was supposed to be, but I didn't want to get him sick, you know? So there's certain things like that.
So I think she's talking about her brother
But
here.
not regret of this type, not like with the Summer thing or with the Baltimore shit.
Not like this, not regret like the Summer thing or the Baltimore shit, she says.
But I do, man, I wish I'd just walked the fuck home.
Now, this is a very interesting comment here. She says, I wished I would have just walked the fuck home. What? Now, why are you saying that? Why do you need to say I wish I would have just walked the fuck home? I mean, to me, I would have been like, man, I wish I would have been just a few minutes earlier or a few hours earlier, right? Why are why is she saying, God, I wish I would have just walked the fuck home. You were at the end of your driveway. You were still at home. But why are you regretting this? That's what I don't understand. It's like, why are you regretting this? This is a very, I haven't seen a lot of people uh, have this. So I think it's, so if you guys want to screen record it, you're welcome to. Um, she recorded this in September about Summer, and she also talks about the domestic violence photos uh, that she explains is actually from a car accident. So, why would you say that's a serious, allegation to say to someone that, you know, this person beat me, but then says, oh, there is this, you know, it was a car accident. Well, it was debunked, obviously.
So many times. And I mean, I tried to, like, that's the thing. There was points there, like I said, I mean, it was a part, like, a year or two at certain points. And I mean that. Like, I had literally left at one point because Voldemort, once again, it started shitting my family because it enjoyed that separation, especially if it could break us down or break me apart from. And there was one particular, we had a car wreck, and like I've explained in the videos. Baltimore was a homebody. Couldn't get him to do nothing, couldn't go nowhere until the past 3 or 4 years. Uh, with weight loss and stem fast and whatever the fuck. Uh, but for the most part, you couldn't get it to go anywhere or do anything. But I was always the bubbly one, the personality, always went places where.
Yes. The first thing you think of when you see Jody Sue is bubbly. That was the first thing I would have thought when I heard of Jody Sue is bubbly. Yeah, very bubbly. No, that doesn't seem like bubbles is not what I think.
Whatever. And so after this car wreck, I mean, it was bad. And I know some of you remember my face, and that's why my eyelid, that one is real wonky. Uh, but after I finally healed from it and could go out of the house without looking like, woo. He was like, oh, you need out, blah, 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 blah. And I almost pushed me out the door, right? With friends. So I went out.
She's saying that he pushed her out with friends. I think she wasn't getting the hint. They was trying to get her off the property for a while.
And for like months, I left our kid, like with it. And it was small anyway. And at the time, I learned I couldn't trust Baltimore with children. But
Now, that's another big accusation there. She's saying that she could not trust Baltimore with children. Now, forgive me for being judgmental, but she's the one. I've not heard Baltimore say uh, that he wanted to eat, you know, babies' faces off and stuff like she did. Jody Sue was having a bunch of questionable behavior leading up to Summer's disappearance. We have video 2 days before Summer went missing. Yes. Yeah. She's the only one that a peeping Tom will send her Amazon gifts. I know. It's about ridiculous. But, she's making these videos and she says it herself. She's hyper vigilant. Yes, she is referring to Andy saying she couldn't trust him with kids.
anyway, not yet at that point. But I come back in that night, and Voldemort. Hold on.
What? Hold on. Wait a minute. Crap. Hold on. Let me fix something. Where's my screen recorder go? Bear with me 1 second. I don't know it. Oh, where's the file at? Give me 2 seconds so I can pull it up. We'll just play it all the way through. Oh, maybe that was it. How many minutes was that? Here, I'm going to play it all the way through one more time.
I wish so many things had been different some days.
Let me make sure that was it.
Anyway, not yet, not at that point. But I come back in that night, and Voldemort. Hold on.
Okay, yeah, that was it. But there may be another part. Hold on.
I just. I wish so
Okay.
many things had been different some days.
Yes, Vet Girl, it has. Yes, it has. We're going to listen to it all the way through. I have an echo now.
And until recently, you would have never gotten me to say, like, I regret anything in my life. But I do regret those moments. I didn't listen to my cousins and not walk out that door. I regret the moments that everybody around me was like, man, it ain't good enough. It ain't worth this. It ain't whatever. And I didn't just. And I regret not just making it a day or two. And I regret just not going on to the Marine Corps because this thing was crying and like, oh, you can't do that, you can't leave me and whatever. And then eventually it made it to where I couldn't, and I regret so many things. You know, but that's the thing. It's like I'm not a person that has ever been like I regret whatever. You know, like I try not to do things in my life that I'm gonna regret. I try to live by that. You know, but other than that, the only thing I regret, and that's the thing, is like with this summer thing. You know, I mean, it's the only time I think I've been like, what if, and but what if I could have, and I regret this, I regret that. You know. The day summer went missing, you know, but other than that, it's only this
Jody
month.
Sue's 6 feet tall.
And maybe my pap. I might regret, like, well, not regret, but I wish I had just had him those last few days that he was here. Even though COVID was a full swing, but I didn't want to get him sick, you know. So there's certain things like that, but not regret of this type. Not like with the summer thing or with the Baltimore shit. But I do, man. I wish I'd just walked the fuck home. So many times. And I mean, I had tried to, like, that's the thing. There was points there, like I said. I mean, there's a part like a year or two at certain points, and I mean that. Like, I had literally left at one point because Voldemort once again had stirred shit in my family because it enjoyed that separation, especially if it could break us down or break me apart from it. And there was one particular, we had a car wreck, and like I've explained in the videos. Voldemort was a homebody. Couldn't get him to do nothing. Couldn't get him to go nowhere until like past 3 or 4 years. Uh, with weight loss and stem fast.
So this was supposedly deleted from Jody Sue's Facebook, but someone sent it to me as and I screen recorded as a screen record apparently before she erased it. Um, her thought process is so slow. Yeah. It's why does she have regrets saying she should have just turned around and went home? Most people would regret not being there to see someone, to potentially save a child, right? Or at least, see more information about what happened, right? And that's another thing I was going to mention. Has Jody Sue taken a lie detector test? Or help a neighbor? Exactly, vet girl. Or help a neighbor. But she's saying her biggest regret is not turning around and going home. Huh. Yep. And she has, and it's been debunked that you know that the car wreck is what those pictures were from. It wasn't from Andy. Andy did admit that he did hit Jody Sue once, which is, and he's, naturally and should be ashamed of it. Um, Abuse is never okay for anyone, but he says that's the only time, and that Jody Sue was mad and she made up the car accident. She did make up the car accident. The car accident happened, but the pictures was actually from the car accident and not from being hit from Andy. So if she's lied about that, could she have been lying about hearing a scream? Could she be lying about something else? Yes, everybody's talking about that slim fast. I don't know if she means the slim fast for her, or slim fast for Andy. I don't know. Now, Jody Sue, her version of slim fast probably includes a glass pipe, but just saying, based upon her behavior. Stem fast. Take it easy. Stem fast. You'll lose 25 pounds and grit your teeth out in 1 week, guaranteed. Oh my God. So it's shake and bake, and I helped. They got, you know what? She never cooked, but damn sure she could make a shake and bake. I guarantee you that. Right? honey, Bella May, honey, don't you worry about it, honey. I appreciate you being here. Uh, Listen, honey, no problem. I just appreciate you being here. Thank you for being here for Summer and these victims. Listen, don't ever donate if you cannot afford it or anything. That warms my heart that you put it out there, but really, uh, thank you for just being here. God bless you. Um, it is with her, and uh, she thinks that she knows all the answers, and I think 95% of the community realize who Jody Sue is, whether she's involved with this case directly or indirectly or not at all. Um, Either way, it doesn't come out looking good. You know what I mean? Because she has contradicted herself so many times. So, like before Summer went missing, we have text of Jody Sue literally, thank you, Michelle, literally saying she cannot stand any of the neighbors, the Wells, any of them. She's talking about them, and it's like, who died and made her the mayor of Ben Hill Road? She's an outsider too. Hell, she was just renting the place. Nobody wanted her there, right? So why is she so territorial when it comes to this property? Why does she think, you know, if you don't want to hear neighbors, then move at a place where you can't hear anything. I don't mind hearing families, have a good time, kids laughing, riding their bike down the road or down the street or whatever. Yeah, it would seem to me like there would only be one reason, and that was to potentially hide something that they were potentially growing, or some type of shake and bake or labs or uh, whatever. I'm wondering what kind of cancer would leave her speech like that. I don't know. Um, we are talking about Jody Sue, who was the neighbor of Don and Candace Wells. Their daughter, Summer Wells, went missing and is still not found. Regret is a strong word. I would say I feel bad or should have helped more. Yeah. Regret is, yes, you can come on panel, but you just need to show your face. Not just, I'll see your face, but nobody else. Yeah, that's exactly right. Thinks her name should, yes. And I sure, you can come up. I just need you to show your face before I accept. Summer is missing from her. do you think Summer is missing from her own case, Justin? Um, how do you mean? Do you think the subject is off Summer? Is that what you mean, or I don't understand what you mean by that. You think so? Interesting. Okay. Thank you, Adrian. You can turn it off now, honey, if you want.
Turned off. I'm looking kind of rough.
Hi, Adrian. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Um,
Good.
I have a whole theory about Miss Jody Sue. She I am a I have a SARS dog too, and I don't actively search for a law enforcement group anymore. I search for families now. Once law enforcement is gone, and family members are not found or whatever, if family calls me, that's when I go in. I enjoy doing it that way a lot better than with the law enforcement. I've done it with both, and I tend to enjoy it that way. But I just have a whole theory about her.
Let's hear it.
Okay. All right. Jody Sue has said from the beginning that she heard the scream, right? She's told us all. She's gave us the whole story. Like Jody Sue has ruled this story. If we think about it, she has ruled this story from the beginning. All right. She told us about the scream. So
Mhm.
we got the scream going on. And then that set up for the 911 call, or for after, the 911 call and all. All right.
Uh-huh.
Well, she also asked Chris McDonough before that. Well, no, after the scream. Well, after Summer come up missing, she asked Chris McDonough about a peeping Tom. What was the likelihood of them developing and doing any type worse crimes? I guess is the
That's
best way
correct.
to say that. Yeah,
Hmm.
we know about that, right? We all know about that. Okay,
Yes.
so that happened. Then we know that Summer come up missing. Jody Sue walked in the creek. I'm here to tell you, if you have bare feet and you walk in a creek that has mud on in it, which every creek has mud in them, even the ones in the mountains. I mean, there's rocks, but there's mud too.
Right.
If you walk in the mud with barefooted or shoes, guess what? It's going to remove a scent. Sorry, it will. That canine dog hit on her. Dogs don't lie. They do not lie.
Hmm.
And then her son was caught up there on the property. Jody Sue, and she's doing these long lives and where she's keeping everything going and she's inserting her stuff in all of this. And I think all of that is to keep a watch on what all's going on because I have a feeling her son did something. Jody Sue helped him cover it up, and that's why the dogs hit on her. And I'm sorry, but those dogs do not lie. And you've got to explain. I mean, there's got to be. That's the only reason that dog hit on her is Summer's scent was on her. If you can tell, if she can explain to me why Summer's scent was on her, then we'll know. But the dog don't lie.
I think what is interesting was the days leading up to Jody Sue uh, or Summer missing Jody Sue's behavior.
Yes,
If
I think so too. See, I'm
if
just
she
now getting into that because I was watching yours a little bit. I really hadn't, researched that part of it. I've, done from summer missing forward, like, because I've really researched it. I happened to be coming through Tennessee the day Summer come up missing, and they put the Amber Alert out, and I was right there near Rogersville when I
oh
was coming
wow.
down the interstate coming home. And so that's why this case just hooked with me, and so I've been doing a lot of research and stuff, and because I have a SARS dog myself, and stuff, and so but I've been doing it from the time she went missing forward. But I have heard about the few of the text messages that Jody Sue had before, and yeah, are very, yeah, like that's weird.
Well, the things she has said, and she was fixated on property lines
Yeah.
and that could be because of potential. It could be hormonal from her medication, or lack of thyroid. It could be from drugs, or from nothing at all. Uh, but clearly, the days leading up to Summer's disappearance, something was off.
Mhm.
Uh,
Definitely.
she's talking about, she would harm, other people's kids, not her kids, but
Mhm.
other people's kids.
Yeah.
Now, a normal human being, regardless of whether Jody Sue did this or not, a normal human being doesn't say that they would harm someone else's children. I think she fell off. Uh, they wouldn't harm another person's children. You know, you just wouldn't say that about another person's kids. You should not want any child harmed whatsoever. You're funny, cracking asses. Cracking asses. Oh God. Did y'all see that Joe cracking asses just put up? It took me a second. Okay. There you go, Adrian.
Sorry, babe.
No, you're fine.
I don't know what happened. I just got kicked out for some
That's okay.
reason.
StreamYards have been kind of crazy lately.
Yeah.
But, it's
Yeah,
it's
I
it's
mean, a
usual.
rational person doesn't talk about hurting other people. And to me, what is so weird, from what I've understood, that land was Andy's, not hers. Like she married him or whatever, and like that's how she gained any, I guess, thinking it was hers. But what gets me is she's so possessive over that land, and she possesses it by marriage, not because she's in the family. Am I
Right.
correct?
She's not an insider whatsoever.
Yeah, so why, that's one thing I've never understood is why she's so possessive over that land.
Well, she was out chasing like a 70 some like year old man at night, Jackie Dobbs,
Yeah.
right? Chasing him.
Why?
Uh and all night long, and she freely admits that. And you think, that's not normal. He's just a guy who bought property.
Yeah.
He's just a guy who bought property.
Yeah.
And you buy something and you expect to live peacefully on your property.
Yeah.
He
Never
wasn't
mind.
afforded
Poor guy.
that. And they said, well, if I would have got in contact with him, it would have been a big issue.
Yeah.
Now, why would someone chase a neighbor for just he never did anything to
Yeah,
them?
why was she chasing him? Did we ever find out why? What
Because
was
she's
her reason?
crazy.
Well, we know that, but I
She's just
mean,
crazy.
was
She just didn't want neighbors.
that's, I mean, and that's another thing. I don't understand why she's so possessive over that land, knowing she just inherited or gained it by marriage. Like she's not in the family, so that's what I haven't understood through this whole thing. And I was wondering, have I missed something? Like,
Yeah.
and I didn't know if maybe you could enlighten me. Like what? I mean, she
And
is. I mean, why would you chase a set? I mean, and look, hey, everybody's made it out from on my side, from where I looked at it, like Jackie Dobbs was the crazy one. But if she's
yeah,
chasing the poor 70-year-old man around at night,
all night
maybe,
long
yeah, maybe it ain't him.
looking for him.
I mean,
Uh, she did say that they wouldn't let the cops search the property, and later to find out, allegedly, because they did grow weed on the property and they thought they would get in trouble for it. Now that is, um, that makes sense.
yeah,
But still, when a child is missing, I'm not
missing.
sure. You know,
I don't think the cops would have really worried about that myself.
yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, I really
Some of them,
don't. You know, But I can understand if they were growing it and it was there. Yes, I can understand them being worried about the cops searching their property if they was going to get in trouble. Yeah, I can get
Right.
that. But I still don't see anybody denying a search for a child. I mean, you got to explain that one. Anybody. You don't deny people to search for a child.
Jinguetta says, Justin, she wasn't chasing Jackie Dobbs. She was screwing Frank and just pretending to night watch the property.
Oh my God.
I haven't heard that. I mean,
Jesus.
I've heard her about the Frank part, but I haven't, which he is a RSO for children.
Ugh. Sorry.
Sick.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm putting your sound effects in over here. That's just gross. I mean, I hate it, but that's just, you know,
I
something ain't
think
right
Dobbs
there.
tried to camp there before he moved in, and he was on Jody's property or her husband's property because the real estate did not have the deed right or something. Yeah, but it's
But still, yeah.
regardless. I mean,
And why is she acting so possessive over something she gained by marriage? That's my thing. Like, I don't get that. I never have gotten that. I was hoping somebody could, like,
yeah,
I was hoping we knew.
in the beginning, I mean, they have later searched, but in the beginning, Lori, I don't think that they searched. They had the neighbors search. But later, after they pulled the plants up, I think that I know that they searched later. But um, if if you have property and uh, the police don't have reasonable suspicion that something is on that property, you know, they legally can't go on it unless there's like an emergency. Um,
That just blows my mind when it comes to a missing child like that. You know,
yes,
I mean,
they don't.
I just don't see. I mean, I own 70 acres.
That's
And if
true.
cops come up here right now, I mean, I do my stuff too. Hint, hint. And if the cops come up here right now wanting to search, I'd let them because that's a missing child
Right.
or a missing person, man. I mean, you just don't deny them. I don't get that at all.
Yes. Yes, and that is true. Andy does not own the deed to the property. His mother.
His
Uh,
mother owns the property. That's what
yeah,
I.
and they tried to get her off for quite a while.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, our laws do some. It's
Yeah, they do
it
work against us.
it protects. It's can they can get a warrant from a judge if there's no reason to search it. There, if it's not volunteered, um, then if they don't have a reasonable suspicion that what they are looking for is on that property, then technically they can.
Well, I will stand by the point that you've got somebody's got Jody Sue has got to explain to me why she had enough, and I know how much scent you have to have on somebody because I do this. So she's gonna have to explain to me why and what for what reason she had that child scent on her because we're not talking about oh she brushed up against her leg. We're not, it don't work that way. Okay, it was a solid scent. So Jody Sue needs to explain why that scent was on her. And I don't understand. Well, and maybe the cops have asked her that. And then what I was fixing to say is I don't want to understand why the cops haven't asked her that question, and maybe they have. I hope they have, because like why? I mean, like why is that kind of sent on her? First off, if she don't like the neighbors, she don't like other people's kids. It ain't like she was over there playing with Summer.
I mean, Layla, it is
I mean,
possible that Jody Sue is lying. That you know, but I don't
I'm
know why. I
I'm
don't know
beginning.
why anyone would lie, saying that yeah, the dogs came right up on me. I
Yeah,
don't.
why would you bring that on you? Yeah, I mean, and enough people have questioned her about that that I think it is true. I don't think she lied about that.
How did the dog track her, and where she was not telling the truth? How did the dog track her, and where was she? Yeah.
From what I understood, she was standing at the bottom of her property, and they let the tracking dog out, and the tracking dog went across the road and done its smelling thing and started tracking and started hitting its scent, and it went straight to Jody. Now that's how I heard that it was done off. But at that time, the tracking dog evidently gave the handler the signal that she was scented. Evidently, the handler missed it. And that's when the other dog and the rescue dog got into it. Because at that point, the rescue dog was trying to give a signal when the other dog acted aggressive. That's why the rescue dog jumped, because he was there doing a job. But they're not supposed to do that either. So that dog is out of commission now. Um, Most
Uh,
likely.
Thank you, Aunt B, for uh, your Cash App donation. I appreciate it. Thank you. Um,
But I'm beginning to wonder if there was even a scream.
and thank you, Julie Lee, too, for the yesterday's Cash App donation. Day before. Thank you so much. Yeah, you're beginning to think what? What would you say?
I'm beginning to think there wasn't a scream.
I don't believe the scream. It's not founded. The cop says it's
Yeah, it does
unfounded.
found it. I don't believe it. For a long time I did. But
Yeah.
I don't. And see, that's why if there was no scream, that all hooks it into why Jody Sue could have sin on her, and I believe she's wrapped up in this, and her son is too. Because why would Jody Sue get wrapped up in it for Candace? She wouldn't. She
Yes.
wouldn't. But she
Yeah.
would for her son. You'll do
Yes.
anything for your kids.
Yes. This is all opinion that we're
This is
talking
my
about, right?
opinion.
Yeah. This is
This
her.
is totally my opinion.
Yeah.
Like nothing else, just for my research. And yeah, I mean, this all can. I mean, you will do anything for your kids, anything. If it's a scream is not founded, they got home about 1:30. Grandma slept till 3 or so or whatever. From 3 to 6:30, there you go. There's your time to do
Well,
anything.
this is my thing. As nosy as Jody Sue is, as hyper
Mm-hmm.
vigilant as she is, okay. All right. Well, thank you to whoever sent that. Thank you to Mary who sent the Cash App. And okay, was informed by deputies to make sure.
Yes, Jody Sue is the one that said the dog smelled Summer on her leg. She is the one that said that. She said that the dogs come to her. She sure did. And I don't understand why anybody would like, which we know Jody Sue likes to, lie and brag and kind of bring, fabricate and get stuff going. We know that. But I just don't think that's one thing you'll lie about. I mean, because I'll keep screaming this till the end. And when the day comes that we find Summer, I promise y'all, it's gonna be hooked to that dog. A K9 rescue dog, search and rescue dog does not lie. They do not lie. They do not have the capacity, and they don't know how.
Yeah. Aunt B, thank you for that. I appreciate that. I Aunt B's talking. This was from a neighbor, which hold on one second if I can find
But I don't want
which.
to upset nobody about my opinion now. So, this is just my
No, no,
theory, my thoughts. So I don't want
sure,
nobody in
sure.
your.
Um,
Ain't B was what, baby? Go ahead.
one second. I need you to step back, please, honey. So sorry, my
Okay.
children. Sorry. Um, but Aunt B was, which I will be clear with. This is the neighbor. What allegedly the neighbor who wrote this about like the footprints and stuff. I will be the first to tell you I do not buy into the footprints.
I don't either.
That is my opinion. Uh,
Mine too.
the police haven't said anything about the footprints, and to me, it just doesn't make sense. But that's
And
my
I
opinion.
believe, well, and the reason I don't buy into the footprints, because a scent can stay on a footprint for a little longer, and we don't know that those footprints were from that day. You don't know, and you can't be certain, and so that's
Mhm.
why I don't buy into the footprints at all. I don't think they were from that day. I don't even think they're involved in this case. I don't even know if they're Summers really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it says blank was informed by deputies to make sure when I post anything to make sure I explain it in full detail so there is no way anyone could misinterpret it. Someone got confused over me calling a footprint physical evidence and blew their phone lines up, thinking it was new evidence, so I'm being very precise here. Two footprints, child size, barefoot, not my kids' prints, one on my land, one on the neighbor's that doesn't want their name or location mentioned. I do not want my location shown either. Search dogs barked on my land, not lamb. Deputy asked me questions about my kid's shoe size. I asked if the dog's barking meant it was her scent. He said yes. Said it had to be a recent print left after she disappeared, in uh, parentheses. Informed him my kids are never barefoot in the woods. Prints are about 3/4 of a mile or so apart. The print in my yard was behind a ridge, so not where we would have seen anyone. Next print was further up a ridge near another neighbor's house. Not sure which print was left first, so no clue which direction she was going. Um, yeah, and that's supposed to be a neighbor. There are other YouTubers who believe in these footprints. That is their right to their opinion. I do not buy it. That's my opinion. Um, that it has not been the police have not said any iota about it, um, and that's just it.
Those footprints, if I'm not mistaken, were really hit on and discovered when the search people, what's their name? I can't remember right now. When the search people came back, and I think that was like on the 19th. So you don't know when those footprints were put out there. You don't know how long that scent was going to stay on there. So, being the 19th, that print could have been from the 15th. It could have been from the 4th. You see what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
that's why I don't believe in the footprint, is because you can't determine when it was from.
Well, it's one footprint.
Right.
It's one footprint here,
Well,
and
and
three
I've
fourths of
heard,
a
I've
mile.
heard,
It's
I,
it's another footprint, and A, we don't know it's Summers, and B, you would think there would be at least two
too.
footprints,
Well, I've
and
heard some people explain it saying, well, somebody could have been toting her and sat her down. You know, that I've heard
okay,
that
well,
in groups.
where's the dude's footprints?
Footprints.
Where's his shoe prints?
Right, right. The whole scene should have been looked at, not just the one little child
So
footprint. It should have been
yes,
looked to see if an adult footprint was there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like somebody could have sat
sure.
somebody down.
So
Um,
Vet Girl says, so he didn't see it, and it was over a ridge. So how did he know? Was that taped off? Oh, that's a good question. Um, I mean, I'm not, arguing with any other YouTuber or anything like that. I
no.
want to be very clear. I'm just saying this is my opinion, just as it's others' opinion.
Yeah, yeah. This is just all our opinion. Like I was
Uh,
just busting at the gut to tell mine about Jody Sue. You know, like just chomping
yeah.
at the bit to say it. But I don't know. I don't believe in the footprints either. I don't at all. I mean, I
Um,
just don't, because we don't know when they were put there. I mean, you just can't be sure, and you can't be
I mean,
sure if they were even Summers.
well, I'm sure that they did a cast. Definitely, if there is footprints, TBI would have said, anyone in this area mapped out. Have you seen this little girl? She was last seen on this block. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you would think.
I have a quick question, and this is something I've heard about, but I did not know. And it is kind of gory, so I guess trigger warning, whatever. Um, Jody Sue had a couple of dogs that passed away. Is that correct?
I don't know. I know she had two cats that
Well,
died the same
I
day.
thought she had two. I heard that she had two dogs that passed away around the same time. And I also heard in a room that the dogs did not search that site. Why? Because if those dogs died within a week of Summer coming up missing, that site should have been searched. Should have
Hmm.
been dug up. And if it wasn't, I want to know why. I'd like to know why. I think taxpaying citizens of Tennessee have the right to know why.
Exactly. I mean, to me, if uh, the police doesn't, like, the police would say, in my opinion, you would think, or TBI or somebody would say, you know, uh, she was, we found a trail, we found a footprint, she
Right, just to try to
her
incorporate.
footprint was last. I mean, that way, and more stuff going off. I mean, they wouldn't just let it run out into the public without them, uh, at least getting the narrative down a little bit.
Well, you would think that Lawson would put out a little bit of information that he knew was true, but put out a little bit of information about it so maybe it would jog people's memory. I mean,
That,
I
that
know he has made it very clear that he does not like social media. He does not like YouTube. And I think he thinks that from his actions, the way I've seen him on all the videos where he's done interviews, to me, I think he feels like YouTube has made his job more complicated. But
sure,
I think if instead of hiding all the information, if the police would come out with information that they know is true, not stuff that they shouldn't give, but the things that they can give it out to the public to see if it jogs somebody's memory.
sure.
Like somebody goes, "Oh yeah, I remember that," but like I don't understand why they're not doing that. But they're not doing it on a lot of cases. It's just not Summers. It's
Yeah. Well,
kind of like it's going on with a lot of cases.
Well, it's a fine balance of what to release and what not
Right.
to release, because they do have to keep things close to the vest.
Yeah. I
But
mean, I totally get that.
it's but they need to put enough out,
Yeah, to
so
like
people
jog the
will.
memory or something.
Yeah. um
Um,
Vet Girl made a very and thank you, Vet Girl, for the super chat. Why do they take uh from newborns? Footprints. Bingo. TBI would have confirmed it was her a long time ago. If they did cast on those footprints, and you're born, you get footprints, right? Um, they would have, it would have been you know a match if they that's
I
just
think so too, and I think we would have heard about that.
yeah.
I do. I think
um
if they did cast it, I think and it was a match, I think we would have heard about it. But my thought is this: if Lawson did not, because Lawson would have been the head of the deal. It was his show. If he did not allow them, or whatever, I don't guess allows the right word, but I don't know. If that site of Jody Sue's wasn't searched, then I'd like to want to know why. And then, it kind of makes you wonder why a lot of why if he hasn't done that either, what else has he not done to investigate this case to bring it to a close? Because I don't I think Lawson has dropped the ball on this one.
I don't know. I really don't know.
And I mean, that's just totally my opinion.
Right.
But and that's another thing, and it's happening in a lot of cases where the cops are not letting a lot of stuff out. But I just don't understand why they don't, so that it may jog somebody's memory. Also, I was watching Scotty Skulls, and I know he has that video of the red truck that zoomed around him, and I know he was trying to get TBI, and he had called several law enforcement agencies before he released that video, wanting to get that video to somebody to get them to look at it, and they didn't. They never called him back. And I think now I seen in a chat the other day that
Right.
somebody had gotten a hold of it, and they were going to be able to get it to somebody that was actually going to do something with it. Um, but it just makes you wonder when you have people that's called tips in that are credible. Now, I know there's been a lot of stuff that's been called in that's not credible too, but when you get a tip in that's credible and you don't call somebody back and you don't email them back, then yeah, it's going to make the citizens think that, well, wait a minute, are they doing their job? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I can tell you this, that this case um is a very, very complicated. It is
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
layered upon layers.
Oh yeah, especially layers upon layers, especially when you've got the kids with CPS and all of that, and that's spilling over it. Yeah, this case is way complicated. Yeah,
Mhm.
but what aggravates me is that there has been no charges. But I'm just hoping we all know how slow CPS is. Like we all know that, and so I'm just hoping that CPS is still doing their investigation, and it's just taking them longer, and that's why. That's what I'm
Well,
praying.
I think, in my opinion, which I'm going to be going over hopefully tomorrow, that there is kind of a tug of war going on between CPS and law enforcement, and I'll explain tomorrow. But it's very complicated. When then, in my opinion, they know who the truck belonged to. Jody Sue inserted the truck Van Dobbs RSO at the end of the road.
Uh,
Yeah.
Wisconsin Mama, she put a good quote or a good little chat in there, a little thing in the chat. She said, "Does anybody think that maybe Jody Sue is saying all this stuff to cover up for somebody to keep the focus on her and not that other person? Well, who in the world would you do anything for? There's one person in this world that you'll do anything for, especially if you're a mama.
Your
It's your
kids.
kids. You
Mhm.
do anything for your kids. You'll lie, you'll cheat, you'll steal, you will do whatever for your youngins. That's my point.
Yes. Thank you so much, Trinity. I'd love to join panels on discussing missing children, traffic, Megan, Wash, and conspiracy of science. Absolutely. I would love to have you up. You're welcome up anytime. Thank you
If
so
you
much.
need me to drop down, just tell me.
No, no, you're good.
Okay, babe.
I've been on here nearly 2 hours.
Oh.
But to me, it's just very interesting that it was a big regret for Jody Sue to not go back to the house. She
Mm-hmm.
said she should have just went back to the house. That doesn't make sense to me.
Sense, yeah. Yeah, it don't me either.
It seems like you would want to be, you know, God, I should have been there earlier. I
Mm-hmm.
wish I would have been there earlier. I wish I would have been there when I heard that scream or something like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
Jody Sue, she's so hyper vigilant. She's always, sticking her nose in everybody, the whole neighborhood's business. You know, to me, if there was a scream, she would have been right on it.
Yeah.
You
She would have
know,
been going toward it, like hearing it. You know how when you hear somebody scream or hear something, you go toward it, like try to find it. Yeah, I believe that. She'd be. I mean, yeah, as much as she's in everybody's chats yeah, 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 I can see that.
exactly. The regret implies that you could have done something to change the outcome. Absolutely. But in this case, she's saying, I wish I would have just went back to the house. Why the hell do you want to go back to the house? It's okay, Trinity. You're welcome to email me and talk about it. I seen supposedly text message of Andy that exact day, and she sure never said anything about a scream. Clinton,
Yeah,
that
she
is,
didn't.
she never said anything about a scream
That's right.
that day, and she was non-active on the phone for. She was not active on the phone for a couple hours.
That's right. What was the time? Somebody's got
Uh,
that on a time.
yeah, I
Penny's
think
got
it
it.
was it
Yeah.
was like 3 to 5 or something like
Uh
that. I think
huh.
it was,
Uh huh. There you
but
go.
who knows? But
But
regardless, if Candace was going up and down that hill, uh, Jody
mm-hmm.
Sue, she probably knows what went
Mm-hmm.
on, even if
Yeah, she
she's not at
knows.
home. But
She
you know,
knows. I would. I would. I would bet on that. She's got.
yeah,
She knows. She knows. That's the only reason she would be doing all this.
yeah,
She absolutely knows. And I
and
believe that's also why, and I believe the cops feel that too. That's why they've questioned her as many times as they have. They've questioned her more than they did Candace.
Scream announced to make timeline hers. It seems.
Hmm.
Yeah,
She
but
has started this narrative from the beginning.
regardless, like we you don't want to lie in a child's missing case
Mm-mm.
just to be relevant.
Yeah, who would
That's the
do
thing.
that?
That's the thing. If it's true, it's true, but you're contradicting her. She's contradicting herself over and over and over, and she just has she talked to law enforcement? Has
Yes,
she?
they talked to her.
Well,
Yeah.
I would just like her. I would like to know if some neighbors would like to do some lie detector test, maybe.
Oh, and JLR, a week or two ago now, he put up there that the house that sits on the corner of Beach Creek and Ben Hill, they have surveillance cameras. Those surveillance cameras, I don't know if they were up and working that day, but it makes you wonder.
Well, there was supposedly trail cams.
Ah, yeah, I know. Yeah, I heard about those.
What
I
happened
heard
to
they were
those?
supposedly deleted.
What happened to them?
I heard Jody Sue and Andy deleted them, but now I don't know.
Right,
That's just
but
what I've been hearing through chats and stuff.
yeah,
So I don't know.
that's
That
just
probably not even
hearsay.
true. Yeah, that's hearsay.
Yeah,
This is total hearsay. I don't know.
but
But JLR, when he went back out to the place, he did see the cameras on the side of that house. So hopefully, those cameras were there, but and recording. But this is the thing; they only hold the information for so long.
yeah.
Um,
Uh, please don't block. No, no, please don't block. No, I don't know what's going on in chat, but don't block for slightly ever. Very good person. Um, Boogie on the driveway. Trail cam was set off by Boogie. Yeah, there's there's so much misinformation on
mm-hmm.
this case. It is incredible, and the rumor and the problem. There's a few problems, in my opinion, why this is like this. One is law enforcement doesn't give us anything,
Right,
and
right.
some of that is because they don't have anything themselves.
True.
Um, thank you, Miss Enigma. Appreciate your super sticker. Thank you so much. Um, and then there's just not there's just not a lot to work with. So we hear this and we hear that and we hear this and we hear that, but most of the things we hear is just nothing, you know. Um, and it's
Well,
hard to differentiate the two of those. So
one thing I've heard and I have not understood from the beginning is the first day when the cops went up there, when they called and said Summer was missing and the cops went up there. From what I understand, Grandis and Dawn was outside with the cops. Candace was in the house. The cops didn't go in the house much to talk to her. I don't understand that. Where I'm from, them cops would have been in that house talking to her because that's who was with the child. See, I don't even understand that. Is how did she get out of being talked to that night? I don't care if she's upset or not. Like
if
me or you, they would have done it. I mean, where I live, they definitely would have done it, you know? So I don't get that.
yeah,
And that's what that's hearsay too, but I think that's pretty accurate. There's been enough people that has said that I think that's pretty accurate, and I don't understand why Lawson did that. Why would you do that? Now, there's just been a lot in this case, and there's a lot of misinformation, and I blame that on Lawson too. He could have put out a little bit of information that he could put out for this case, and it would have stopped a lot of the misinformation.
hmm
It would have. And so if he's having to deal with the misinformation tips and stuff, I blame that part on him. That's his fault.
the
So
same thing is happening in Blackfoot Reserve, and the FBI are trying to get permission. Yes, that is true, Barbara Kelly. Yes, we just don't know. That's right. We just don't know. But anywho, I think I'm going to jump off here now.
all right.
Thank you, Adrian, for coming up.
Thank
I
you for letting me come
appreciate
up.
you.
Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you. Thank you for letting us know about the dogs and
Well,
what
thank
you
you for
do on the
letting me
side.
give you my input and all on it.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Y'all have a good night.
Appreciate you.
Thanks. Bye bye.
Bye. Hey, Kim. Good to see you, honey. Um, they're arguing on Cam, accusing him of targeting her children and other different names. Saying, yeah, yeah, she's we call her the Riddler for a reason. She doesn't. Jody Sue's just Jody Sue. But yeah, so tomorrow we're going to be going over some theories and more with guys. If y'all have not seen the interview rooms, uh, last video that he did. Sorry, Chris. Please go watch it. It is very insightful, and we're going to kind of talk about that tomorrow. And then in a couple days from now, hopefully, we'll have uh, my theory of what's going on here. And we have really, really dug deep. Dug deep. So we'll be, the Joker of Ben Hill. Absolutely. So, all right, guys. Well, I love each of you. Thank you so much for caring for Summer. Thank you so much for being here. God bless each and every one of you, and justice for Summer Wells and all of the victims. Good night. God bless. Bye bye.